What's going on, people? Proof here, and I'm here with the second recruit report that I have for you guys coming to you tonight from the two the two GB9 reveals that we had from this past Sunday. And the card that I have coming is amazing. I don't know what we did to be blessed with this particular card here, but I appreciate it, Bushy. Like you guys coming through for the clan here. Excuse me. And the card I'm talking about is Mayhem Tiger, and he's a 9K grade 2, and he says charge and GB1 Soul Blast 1. When your opponent's unit is put into the Guardian Circle during the battle that he attacked Vanguard, you may pay the cost. If you do, you choose one of your opponent's grade 2 or less rear guards and retire it. So what this means is they place a unit onto the board either from their hand, intercepts, stuff that is placed through in other zones such as Balloon Raccoon or those special interceptors from back rows that some clans have. All those are eligible targets to be nuked by Mayhem here. And so it doesn't work on PGs and it doesn't work on G guards, which is fine because it's a common card. You can't expect too much from a common card, especially when it does so much already. But the interaction with PGs is when your opponent places it onto the board, they can still pay the cost. Well, I should rephrase that. You have the ability to Soul Blast 1 before they pay the cost, but even if you retire it, it doesn't stop them from being able to use the PG to nullify the attack because he doesn't have that Die Kaiser clause to where it says PGs, it negates the effects of PGs do not hit abilities. So don't waste it on PGs. Can't use on G Guardians there, and it can't work on grade 3. So if you're facing decks such as Blade Wings with Sullivan, they are still able to use grade 3s to stop your attacks because it gets from the 10k shield value they get from Sullivan. And really good for a common card. It's repeatable as well. So your opponent places a card onto the Guardian Circle. You have the option to pay the cost or not. If you don't, they place the next card down. If you then want to use the ability, you can then Soul Blast and nuke that particular Guardian. Then they guard again. So it keeps going until you choose not to pay the cost for it, and your opponent either guards the attack successfully or you break through and hit your opponent. So it's a good way to gather more pressure and advantage on your opponent for being a Spike Brothers player to burn their hand down, because you're pressuring them to not take a hit from something that can potentially keep nuking their guard, or you're forcing a G guard or a PG out of their hand, which is still relevant for us in the long term. And so he's also a generic charge unit, so he's not rising locked, rising restricted, or rising locked, however you want to say it. So he has applications across all the decks in the clan, and he has I guess you could say the biggest range of motion in Baden and Deli Jessica decks because they can gather soul, but they don't have as many uses for the soul at the current moment as the Rising Miracle version of the deck with Miracle Ace. So say you Baden Break Ride, you do the Frozen Ogle plays to gather soul, so you now have 3 extra soul in there that you otherwise wouldn't have, and you have no real use for it. And if your last call is a Mayhem Tiger, now your opponent has to hope that they have a G guard to stop it or have a PG left around. So it has some good applications, and it's really exciting to have a card this strong in the clan, especially as just a common slot, because we've yet to see, outside of Supernova and Lethal, which I expect to be a double rare, we've only seen common cards being revealed from set 9 for us so far. So it blows my mind to see what we could potentially get in the future in the rest of the common slots, the rare slots, and the double rare slots as well. And so in the context of the Rising deck, he has a strong use with Supernova, especially if you can get the 10k off, being able to attack for 19 plus 7 at minimum, or 19,000 at minimum, but then a 7k booster, that's 26. And if you pass a trigger, he hits over the 5k the plus 5K G Guardians. If you give him more power, actually no. Let me backtrack because Supernova gives plus 10 to the field. So if his booster is currently standing, that'll be 19 plus 17, which is 36, which hits over all G Guardians, assuming your opponent's Vanguard is still 11K. It hits over all G Guardians that I can think of. Maybe not X Caribou, just because of the extra boost, but it hits over the majority, if not all, G Guardians at 36,000, to the point to where his Soul Blast 1 skill becomes more relevant because they have to place more guard onto the field, which might force 2 G Guardians from your opponent, or it might force a PG, which is still 2 cards out of their hand. And so strong with Supernova, and it's also good with Supernova on your first stride turn when you combine it with Air Force Eliza. And it's quickly becoming one of my favorite first stride plays because with 2 counter blasts and you have another Mayhem in your hand, you can force your opponent into a tricky situation if you call out a Mayhem and you call out, or from hand to the field, and then you call out one through charge. And then with Supernova's flip, you flip over another Supernova and you put the one in charge that you call from your hand with Eliza behind it. So then you have, and assuming there's Frog Raider in front of the one or behind the ones you called out from the deck, you're now attacking for 21 to 26 with the charge, and then it bounces back to the deck. Then you attack with the Eliza boosted column, and then you use Eliza's ability to bind and call it back over in front of Frog Raider for an extra 16 to 21 to 26K line, all of which 3 attacks there are forcing guard break potential from your opponent. And so I've done it a couple times in my testing online. Again, shout out to my people over at Pojo for helping me out, to where I've had them at 4 damage going into my first stride, and was able to do this particular combo to where they were stuck between having to guard my Vanguard with the PG or having to save the PG for Mayhem in the future. So it definitely puts them between a rock and a hard place if you time up when your Mayhems come down, which is pretty insane. And so I definitely enjoy what he brings to the clan. And so let's see. I think that about covers what I had on hand for Mayhem here. In terms of rating, like, I want to say like a 4 to a 4.5, and I don't want to give it a full 5 because while I think it's really, really strong, I don't know if he fits that staple 4 of slot. Excuse me. But he's really, really strong, and I definitely see the potential for this guy in the future. And I say he's going to be fit in most decks either as at least 2, but I know in the Ryzen deck I will try to fit in 3 or 4 if I can, because of how strong he is with Supernova, and how strong he is in the context of the Miracle Ace turn if you're there as well. Because anytime you can force a free hit, the better, and so you can push your opponent up into that dead zone, I guess you could say. So I'll definitely say 4, 4.5, teetering on 5, but that's going to require some more testing. But for a common card, he's insanely strong. And so that'll about do it for Mayhem. Let me know what you guys think. Leave some comments down below. Maybe you'll catch something that I missed along the way. And hope you enjoyed again. And look out for more. Hopefully, fingers crossed that we got something coming tomorrow. And until next time, peace. Be easy.